all three lifespans of childhood, adulthood, and old age. And number three, what exactly we achieve when we become Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arahant. I will not be describing the stages because all the great meditation masters, they have taken from the scriptures and have it explaining all those stages to their students. And the way they explain are also very interesting. I just would like to refer to you, for example, from Myanmar. Way Masi Siaro and his teacher, Minkun Siaro, is playing the 4 stages. Okay, they take from the suttas and also from the Visuddhimagga. Mogo Sayadaw, for example, didn't refer to the Visuddhimagga so much. Instead, he would refer to the canonical text of the 3 stages that we can see in the second sermon of the Buddha, the Anattalakkana at the end. So when you talk about the 16 stages of achieving the Arya stage, okay, the path leading to all those 4 stages that you mentioned in your question, the 4 stages. So some teacher would describe the 16 stages taking from the Visuddhimagga and the Bodhisattva. Some teacher would go just by the canonical text. Of course, there are other teachers. I'm just mentioning the teacher that I'm familiar with. The teacher that I'm less familiar with, like Pao Sayadaw, who combined both the Samatha and Vipassana. And another very important teacher of our time, the most venerable Ajahn Chah of the Thai Forest Meditation Master. The way he described them is also very interesting, just as Pao Sayadaw. They don't contradict each other at all. Instead, as the Visuddhimagga mentioned to us, that each teacher explains only his own experience through his experience. The way people achieve these stages, these meditation stages, the final destination is the same, but some people would focus on physical matter. Some people would focus on some concept in the mind, the development of concept, how they disappear. Some people would focus on reaction. Some people would focus on pain, on vedana. Some people would focus on what they see outside. The temperaments are different. So about the 4 stages, I just would like to say this much, but I'm more interested in the part of your question, when you say in today's busy schedule of modern world, how do we achieve this? I think this question is very important. I just would like to recall one incident during the Buddha's time. One day, okay, this was in India. One day, a Buddhist monk, not just one day actually, regularly a Buddhist monk went to a family's house for his alms, for Pindapada, okay, to collect his alms round. Because he was a well-practiced monk. And the man from the family, from the household who donated, who offered his meal on daily basis, was very inspired. So he asked the monks how to practice. So the monks told him gradual steps. Just one at a time. One at a time, starting from generosity and then to develop some ethics, some ethical behaviors towards other people, at work, at home, in the society, like this. And then to train his mind directly using meditation. After that, he was making steady progress that he wanted to become a monk himself. So he became a monk. That was during the Buddha's time. This story is in the Dhammapada. So when he became a monk, because a monk is expected not just to practice for himself, but also to share his practice with other people. In order to do that, he had to follow a certain syllabus. So he studied and then he studied more suttas. He studied about the details of the mind, Abhidhamma. Then one day, he just became so overwhelmed by the workload. Wow, I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving the monkhood. So he went to see the Buddha, and the Buddha said, forget all those things. Just focus on your mind. Just focus on your mind. Meaning the pattern of your mental reaction, how the mind reacts to food, how the mind reacts to the news, say in today when we read news on Facebook, on Twitter, okay, on social media, how the mind reacts to that. And when we see our friends or even our colleagues at work, customers, our superiors at work, and our subordinates, when we see them, we usually have thoughts about them. We usually have reaction to their behavior, to what they think. So what the Buddha was saying is just to focus on your mind, just one thing. And he became Arahant. What I want to point out here is that we can make ourselves busy. In doing so, we can lose the big picture. Okay. Now, how busy is our life? All these choices are in our hand. But sometimes we cannot resist the peer pressure from the society. When people drive a nice car, you feel the pressure of having to drive a nice car. When people build a big house, then you feel the pressure of having a big house yourself. Usually we do more than we need. Usually we get more than what we need. I want to emphasize that, okay, it's possible to live our life simply. Okay, to live our life simply. In this age. Okay, now I'd like to venture outside the question a little bit. You asked about the 4 stages. Now, without addressing them directly, I would like to say something that might be helpful to your question. To always look at our emotion. The Satipatthana Sutta, the Discourse of Mindfulness of the Buddha, talks about 2 emotions, meaning the Buddha summarized all of them into 2. Abhijja Dhammasami. That's the word. Abhijja Dhammasami. The 4 mindfulness, 4 foundation mind, it doesn't matter which one we're inclined to focus on. It can be physical body, it can be vedana, the feeling, it can be the defilements influencing our mind, or it can be the Dhamma, that is the natural working of the mind. It doesn't matter which one we focus on. The Buddha said at the beginning. In the summary, the Buddha gives the summary first. So when we go to work, if we observe our emotion, like and dislike, when we like something, when we like people, when we like program, when we become enthusiastic, when we like the outcome, just observe our emotion. But when we become depressed, when we become so stressed out, when we don't like certain things, maybe in the meeting, maybe in the email, maybe in the chat room, just observe that dislike, a feeling of dislike. We need to catch them there. If we catch them there, then all the defilements will appear. If we do so, we will find out how strong our personalizing tendency is. We tend to personalize. This person is like this. This person doesn't like me. This person is good towards me. That kind of personalizing, personalization goes on all the time. When we do that, when we are caught up in that loop of personalization, we don't see dukkha or suffering as it is anymore. Instead, we see dukkha, we see suffering as me, as that person, as this person. This person is causing me suffering. See, look at the way this person is causing me suffering. When we view a situation that way, we are caught up in that loop of personalization. The way to transcend that is to look at ourselves as suffering and to also look at that person as suffering. We don't usually do that. We don't usually see that person as suffering. Instead, we see that person as causing us suffering. This is a subtle point of what we call Sakkaya Ditthi, personalizing tendency. It's because of this outlook of our daily experiences that we get caught up here. We repeat our stress again and again. We repeat our negative thoughts again and again. The negative emotion just reproduce itself again and again. So, if we can do this, not only that, we will look at our life and our environment in a simpler way. Actually, life will also become a lot more simple, not as busy as many people tend to think. When we personalize it, now there comes pride. Pride, individual pride. Oh, I need to achieve this, I need to achieve that. And we also look at ourselves as Indian, as Chinese, as Burmese, as English, as European, as American, Italian, Spanish, whatever. In that context, we also get caught up very easily. So when the Buddha talks about dukkha, the noble truth of dukkha, he's talking about how the essential need of transcending those limitations. And when we can do that, I think we are walking towards these 4 stages. Something that should anger people, if that doesn't anger you anymore. Instead, you just see pain in everyone and you want to help them. I think you are quite close there. I'd like to touch on the last part of your question. What exactly we achieve when we become Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arahant? One discourse that many Theravada Buddhists know is called Mangala Sutta, the Discourse on Blessing, the 38 blessing. At the end of it, the Buddha says, okay, I'm going to recite in Pali. Puttasta loka dhammehi cittang yasana kampati asokang virajang khemang etang mangalamutam. I think this answers your question. What the Buddha says is, we are unshaken by the waves of experiences, negative experiences in the world. I mean, unshakable mind. That unshakable mind is a profoundly peaceful mind, because we know ourselves. Our peace of mind doesn't last long. We meditate. After meditation, we feel good, we feel calm. Then after we have started work, we start accumulating stress, and the impact of meditation, evaporates. We don't seem to be able to hold on to the peace that we develop during the meditation. This is an example of a shaken mind, the mind shaken by the stress at work, the mind shaken by how people care about us or how people don't care about us, how people talk nicely about us or how people talk casually, quite dismissively, about us. So we are all quite shaken by those things. to the extent that we need to motivate ourselves again and again in life, at work, at home, in the society. People need to redefine, the goal of life, what they want to achieve, again and again. This is because what they have got become ordinary once again, not exciting anymore. And they need to motivate themselves once again to work hard, to achieve more. I can see you use the word achieve, in all the 3 questions. Achievements. Actually, all those 4 stages, I don't think they are achievements. They are about doing away with what we have. They are about letting go. They are about letting go. And when we talk about letting go, think about fear that comes to our mind. Okay, if somebody has got a degree and to let go of that degree and to never mention that again, you can see what fear that would bring to that person. You have got a wealth of experience, okay, behind you. As a professional, as this, as that. And to never mention that and just be ordinary, an ordinary person in the crowd. Think about how that would bring a lot of fear, a lot of insecure feeling towards you. So this fear causes us, okay, to accumulate more than what we need, to speak more than what we should, to make more friends than we need, to talk negatively of people than we ever should. So if we think about this in our daily life, the pressure from the society, from our surrounding, then we can come back to our mind, we can examine that being unsure